Okay, let's try and unpack this. Imagine this scenario. Federal prosecutors describe a man as having nearly infinite means. Seriously, infinite.
Uh-huh.
Yet nobody, nobody, even after decades of investigations, seems to be able to explain how he actually got all that money. It's a massive riddle, isn't
Yes,
it?
it really is a profound one.
So today we're diving deep into Jeffrey Epstein's financial legacy, his social world too, but really pushing past the awful crimes for a moment to tackle that baffling question. How on earth did he make his money?
And our mission here really is to pull out the key pieces of information from the sources we've looked at. It's not just about the money mystery itself, but also, the gaps in oversight, how he leveraged connections,
Yeah.
and just the sheer audacity, frankly, that let this financial sort of black hole exist for so long.
Yeah.
What's really striking, like you said, is how the answers just seem to evaporate. The closer you look, it forces you to piece together this mosaic, murky origins, big names, these persistent theories that never quite get proven.
Exactly.
Huh.
So let's start right there with that core paradox.
Huh.
You've got prosecutors saying nearly infinite means. Powerful phrase.
Very powerful.
But the reality, nobody can definitively pin down how he got this immense fortune. We're talking multiple investigations, financial reports, journalists digging for decades.
Decades, yeah.
And they've all come up short on finding a clear, verifiable business model or even a consistent list of assets. It's like trying to trace a river that just isn't on any map.
It really is. And his background doesn't exactly scream financial genius either, does it?
Not at all. Born in Brooklyn, working-class parents. He dropped out of Cooper Union and NYU. That's not your typical path to Wall Street billions.
No, it isn't. And that makes his entry into elite finance even more. Well, unusual. Very unusual. He somehow lands a teaching job at the Dalton School in Manhattan, despite no degree.
Which is very elite.
Extremely. And that specific connection, that's what introduces him to Alan Greenberg at Bear Stearns, and that's where his finance career supposedly takes off.
Right, takes off. And he did rise quickly there, apparently. But then his exit, just as murky as everything else, dismissed under, let's say, questionable circumstances, lending money to a friend, some expense issues, even rumors of an affair swirling around. Not exactly a clean departure.
No, not clean at all. And after Bear Stearns, he sets up Intercontinental Assets Group, and then later, the more known name, J. Epstein & Co.
Right.
And this firm, it claimed it only managed money for billionaires, exclusively.
Sounds impressive, but...
But here's the kicker, and it's a theme, isn't it? No public financial statements, no audits, nothing. For a firm supposedly handling vast fortunes, that lack of transparency is, well, how significant is that in finance today? It's huge.
It seems incredibly significant, like almost deliberately opaque,
Right.
trying to operate completely under the radar.
Precisely.
And speaking of clients, the only one who's really been confirmed publicly as a long-term client is Les Wexner.
The L Brands billionaire, yeah.
Yeah.
He's Tory's secret founder.
Exactly. And Wexner gave Epstein just extraordinary control over his finances. We're talking power of attorney. That level of trust, it's genuinely astounding for such a high-profile figure.
It is. What did the sources suggest about how he even got that kind of influence, or why Wexner would grant that much power?
Well, that's part of the mystery. The trust was apparently so absolute
Yeah.
that Wexner transferred ownership of his $77 million New York City mansion to Epstein
Wow.
for no documented payment. Just gave it to him, seemingly.
No payment, just like that.
That's what the reports suggest. And then much later, in 2019, Wexner himself publicly accuses Epstein of misappropriating $46 million from him.
$46 million. So the trust definitely soured there.
Oh, absolutely. But Wexner wasn't the only big name, was he? There were others linked.
No, definitely not the only one. Beyond Wexner, other powerful figures surface. You've got Leon Black, the head of Apollo Global Management.
Right, big private equity firm.
Huge. Black paid Epstein $158 million for tax and estate advice.
$158 million. For advice.
Yep. And get this, it was after Epstein's 2008 conviction in Florida.
After the conviction, wow.
Black actually claimed Epstein helped him save, or preserve, about $2 billion of his fortune, which was around $8 billion at the time.
$2 billion. Okay, that's a massive number. But still, $158 million for advice.
It's a staggering fee. Then there's Glenn Dubin, another hedge fund guy. Epstein was reportedly very close with his family. Some reports even said he was godfather to their kids, though Dubin denies that part.
Okay.
But Epstein allegedly brokered financial deals for him, invested heavily in funds connected to Dubin.
Yeah.
There's also Elizabeth Johnson, an heiress to the Johnson & Johnson fortune.
Uh-huh.
Epstein briefly served as a co-trustee for her family estate.
Briefly. Okay.
And then there's this one company, Environmental Solutions Worldwide. That seems to be the only company where Epstein's firm actually filed any SEC paperwork.
Just one out of everything.
Just one that's documented that way. So yeah, these are definitely powerful names, big sums involved. But does it explain the nearly infinite memes?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It still feels like there's a huge piece missing, doesn't it? Even with those figures, the sheer scale of wealth he projected, it just doesn't fully add up.
Not even close, really.
Which leads us into, well, much darker territory and, frankly, really disturbing possibilities. Beyond finance, the sources explored this persistent theory that Epstein might have used underage girls not just for his own horrific exploitation, but as a tool for blackmail, gathering compromise, as they call it, on powerful people.
Compromising material, yeah. Designed for leverage.
And the evidence cited for this is just chilling. Hidden cameras found in guest rooms, bathrooms, live surveillance setups in his Manhattan townhouse. And tragically, these aren't just rumors. Victims themselves have made statements supporting these allegations.
So the theory goes, he systematically created this leverage over elites to get protection, maybe, or maybe even extract wealth directly. Now, it's crucial to say these claims haven't been proven in court as the source of his billions, but they are entirely consistent with these conspiracy theories that have swirled around him for years. You know, suggestions of ties to intelligence agencies like Mossad.
Yeah, I've heard those. Tucker Carlson and others really push that angle.
Exactly. And those theories gain traction precisely because the financial origins are so murky, people look for another explanation.
It makes sense why people would look elsewhere when the official story is so thin.
Yeah.
And the whole situation just gets thicker, doesn't it, when you look at the legal side, the political connections.
Absolutely. That infamous non-prosecution agreement back in 2007.
Florida deal, yeah. Secretly negotiated by Alexander Acosta, who was the U.S. attorney then.
And later, of course, became Trump's labor secretary.
Right, and the terms of that deal were just incredibly lenient. 13 months in county jail with work release for the kind of crimes he was accused of.
It was widely seen as a sweetheart deal. And what made it even more controversial was that it violated federal law about notifying victims. They were kept completely in the dark about it.
Just outrageous.
And if you connect this to the wider picture, you see these entanglements across the political spectrum. Trump, Clinton.
Yeah, both names come up constantly. Trump was apparently close to him for years, though later Trump claimed he banned him from Mar-a-Lago, but there isn't much solid evidence for that ban.
Right. And Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's private jet multiple times. Those connections were definitely downplayed during Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign.
They certainly were. So it just begs that question, doesn't it? Did these high-level connections, this network, contribute to the secrecy, the protection he seemed to have for so long?
It's a question that hangs over the entire story. How much did that network shield him?
It really makes you wonder about hidden influence, doesn't it? And then if you circle back to the actual money, the financials themselves, it just gets more confusing.
More conflicting, yeah.
Despite boasting about managing billions, you mentioned those 2002 reports. His company apparently had only $88 million in shareholder funds and maybe 20 employees, not the 150 he often claimed.
Right. How do you project this image of a financial titan running billions with what sounds like a relatively small, very opaque operation?
It doesn't track.
Yeah.
And his actual investment record seems surprisingly shaky.
It was erratic, yeah, not consistently brilliant. He lost $50 million when a fund collapsed during the 2008 crisis.
Okay, so not immune to market crashes.
Not at all. And he apparently sold some New York City real estate at a huge loss, like a 65% loss. That's not exactly the Midas touch you'd expect from a financial wizard managing billionaire fortune.
No kidding. But then there was this one massive win, right?
Yes, the anomaly. A huge success through Valar Ventures. That's Peter Thiel's friend.
Peter Thiel, okay.
Epstein's stake in that apparently grew to $170 million.
Wow, $170 million. That's substantial.
It's very substantial. And that single holding, that Valar stake, is now the largest single asset in his estate.
So you have this one giant success, the Valar investment, sitting there against a backdrop of, well, erratic performance, big losses, and general financial murkiness.
Exactly. It stands out dramatically.
It almost feels like that one big win is maybe used to legitimize everything else, like a cover.
Yeah.
What do the sources imply about that? How could one win be so huge compared to the rest?
Well, the sources tend to highlight it as exactly that, a rare bright spot, almost an outlier that contradicts the overall pattern. It suggests maybe opportunistic success rather than consistent large-scale financial management skill.
Interesting. Sporadic luck versus genius.
Perhaps. And even after he died, the financial maneuvering didn't stop just days before his death in jail. He transferred all his assets into something called the 1953 trust. Very secretive.
A trust? What does that do?
Trusts like that are often used to conceal beneficiaries, hide financial details from public view. We know some beneficiaries, a former girlfriend to advisors who now actually co-manage the estate. But the full picture, still hidden.
So the secrecy continues even after death. What about the victims? There was a compensation fund, right?
Yes, there was. A fund was set up, and it did distribute over $164 million to victims.
That's a significant amount.
It is. But the settlements came with legal waivers, meaning the victims who accepted settlements generally had to agree not to pursue further legal claims against the estate.
Ah, okay. So it closed the door on future lawsuits for those who settled. But despite that payout, public doubt about the whole situation, it's still fierce, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The DOJ and the FBI came out in 2024, stated officially, no client list found, no blackmail material recovered, and yes, Epstein died by suicide. That's the official line.
What?
But you have this clash. That official statement versus, while a lot of things fueling skepticism, reports of doctored prison footage around the time of his death.
Right, I remember that.
The involvement of political appointees, names like Bondi, Patel, Bongino, in various aspects of the investigations or related matters, which some people find suspicious, and other just odd events, like reports of torn corneas being used as reasons to prevent public appearances before his death. Little things that just add to the unease.
Yeah, those details definitely feed the conspiracy theories.
And then, of course, you have Donald Trump repeatedly mentioning the Epstein files, implying political rivals are implicated. That keeps the whole thing politically charged, highly radioactive.
It certainly does. And didn't some recent rumors even suggest Trump might pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?
Those rumors have definitely circulated. Whether true or not, just the suggestion adds more fuel to the fire in those conspiracy circles. It keeps the story alive and contested.
So after all of this, after digging through everything, the actual source of Jeffrey Epstein's wealth, it seems just as hidden in death as it was when he was alive.
It really does.
It's an incredible testament, really, to how complex, how opaque financial dealings can get when powerful people are determined to keep things hidden.
And maybe more than that, this whole story serves as this enduring case study.
Yeah.
Elite impunity, maybe? Institutional failure, certainly.
Yeah.
It just keeps raising these fundamental questions about accountability, about transparency, about the limits of our legal system, our financial system, when they come up against immense power and, frankly, a real determination to operate in the shadows.
So the final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on.
Yeah.
What is this mystery, this persistent, unresolved question about his money? Tell us about the hidden power structures that might be operating just beneath the surface.
Yeah.
What kind of system allows this much ambiguity around such a massive fortune to continue even after the person is gone? And what does that mean for accountability when wealth is built or seems to be built in the dark? Something to definitely mull over until our next deep dive.